Golden Radio Hour.
Around Dodge City and in the territory on west, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers. And that's with a U.S. Marshal and the smell of Gunsmoke. Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad. The story of the violence that moved west with young America. The story of a man who moved with it. Matt Dillon, United States Marshal.
He sure made himself scarce in a hurry, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah, it looks that way.
The plaza seems pretty quiet. Maybe he got the wind up and rode right on out of town.
You're giving him credit for too much sense, Chester.
Yes, sir.
The only time that Mallard bunch stops is when somebody stops them. Hey, come on, let's take a look in the Texas Trail.
All right.
Something wrong?
Kitty, I'm looking for Billy Mallard.
Ah.
Has he been around?
Take a look at the mirror back of the bar. He's shot up half the town already and passed the word out that he's going to shoot up the rest of it before midnight.
When was he here?
Half an hour ago, Matt. Drunk, mean. I can't stand him or his father. Maybe they do own half of Texas, but I hate them.
Well, they're Texans, Miss Kitty, and that means they've always got to be
Chester.
trying to...
I told the Mullers when they brought their cattle up here last year that they'd have to act civilized. Come on, Chester.
Sounded like it's up at the west end of the plaza.
Yeah. It's probably the Occidental.
Oh, just a second, Marshal.
What? Oh, what is it, Mr. Colby?
About those pistol shots, Marshal. I reckon that's young Billy Mallard kicking up his heels.
Well, in about 5 minutes, he's going to be kicking them up in jail.
No. Let's not be hasty, Marshal Dillon. We have to think of the best interests of Dodge City in a situation like this.
What?
Those Mallards are mighty important people, you know. Own one of the biggest ranches in Texas. Always throw a lot of money around when they come up here with a herd.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, he gets the same treatment as any other drunken cowboy. I'm sorry, Mr. Colby.
Now, wait a minute. All you're going to do is antagonize them. They'll turn their drives east from now on. They'll ship their stock out of Hays City or Abilene. And you can't arrest Billy anyways. He's got that gunman, Tom Wayne, and 30, 40 Mallard Ranch riders back of him.
Look, I'll argue with you later. I got a job to do.
Dillon, you can't do that.
Chester, let's go pick him up.
That's him, all right, Mr. Dillon. Standing there in the light.
Yeah. I see him.
Must be a dozen or more of his riders with him.
Chester, you keep Tom Wayne covered. The rest of them will wait for him to make the first move. I'll take Billy.
Yes, sir.
Mallard!
Well, now, what do we got here? Local marshal, huh?
Put the gun away, Mallard.
Why don't you try to put it away for me, Marshal?
All right.
Mr. Wayne, you'll keep your hands still and in plain sight.
I said put the gun away, Billy.
You're talking mighty big, Marshal. For a man with empty hands. That 10 star of yours makes a good target. I got me a whole collection of stars like that. That's far enough. You'd better hold it right where you are.
I gave you 2 warnings, Billy. That's one more than I usually give a man. Now you hand over that gun.
I told you to take it if you think you can. No, let go.
You bend that gun barrel someday, Marshal. Laying it over a man's head that way.
Don't worry about it, Wayne. As long as it's not your head.
I'm not worried. I would be, though, if I was wearing that star of yours.
Why?
Old King Malley, he don't like badge toters much. Especially when they buffalo the boy here.
Then he better leave the boy at home when he brings a herd north. Does he get away with this kind of behavior down there?
He does?
Well, here it's different. You can see for yourself.
Maybe it ain't over yet, either.
You weren't figuring on drawing a hand, were you, Wayne?
It's nothing to me, Marshal. Not unless I get orders from King.
Well, he knows where he can find me.
Yeah, I reckon.
All right. The rest of you men. You can stay up all night, spend your money, do as you please. With one exception. If any one of you pulls a gun inside the city limits of Dodge, you'll get the same treatment as young Maller here. Is that clear?
Come on, Tom. Let's go.
All right, Chester, let's drag him over to the jail.
There you are, Mr. Dillon.
All right, in you go, Billy.
Sure he is out cold.
Well, it's better than having a bullet in the stomach. That's what he was asking for.
He certainly was. I declare, Mr. Dillon, if you don't stop taking chances when a man's already got a gun in his hand...
Chester, you can't shoot every cowboy who has a snort or two and starts to take it out on the town.
I know, sir, but...
Here, hand me that bucket of water there in the corridor, will you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right, Billy. Yeah, that ought to bring him around. All right, Chester, lock up the cell.
Just a minute there, Marshal. Don't lock that cell.
Lock it up, Chester.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just told you to stop that. Matter, didn't you hear me?
I can probably hear you clear back in Texas. Now, what's on your mind?
I'll tell you what's on my mind. I want my boy out of that cell. And I want him out in a hurry.
Come around in the morning when the court opens. He's under arrest.
Arrest? You? I can buy you in this 30-cent town of yours and never know the difference.
Maybe. But we'd know it. Now, you shut up and get out of here.
I've argued about this long enough. Either you'll open that cell or hand over the key.
I'm sorry.
You there, come on, hand them over.
Here now, Mr. Mallard. What's
King, you've gone far enough.
You think some tin horn's going to...
I said leave him alone.
Let go of me, Dillon.
Chester, unlock the cell.
Yes, sir.
I'm warning you, Marshal, for the last time. If you don't get your hands off me...
Sure, King. Here you go. Now lock it up, Chester.
Yes, sir.
I'll break you, Dillon. I'll break you and run you out of the country.
Sure. Sure, I know. But you'll have to wait till tomorrow morning.
Kind of quiet around town, Mr. Dillon, with them Mallards locked up.
You and Chester look thirsty, Matt. I brought you a pitcher of beer. On the house.
Well, it's not a bad idea, Kitty.
Well, thank you.
I heard about the Mallers. They ought to be locked up in the same cell. They're two of a kind.
Well, Kitty, I don't know. The kid always has had his way paid for him by the old man's money. I don't know who's more to blame.
Excuse me, Kitty.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know exactly what I'm supposed to do here.
Well, you'll learn, honey. Oh, Matt, I don't think you've met Nora Beale.
Huh?
Matt Dillon, Nora, and Chester Proudfoot.
Proud to know you.
How do you do, ma'am?
Well, now, honey, all you got to do right now is just stand around and look beautiful. I'll be along in a second and show you the ropes.
Oh, well, thank you, Kitty. I'm very pleased to have met both of you.
Thank you.
Likewise, ma'am.
Oh, where'd she come from? She's new in Dodge, isn't she?
Oh, yeah. She's real sweet, Matt. She's a singer from Chicago or somewhere. She got stranded here a couple of days ago. She only plans to work a week and make
Excuse
enough
me, Miss Kitty. Mr. Dillon, look. There's King Maller.
What?
Over at the bar there, Mr. Kelby.
Well, what's he doing out of jail, Matt?
My gracious, you arrest a man and throw him in jail, and an hour and a half later he's out loose again. It's aggravating.
But I'm sure he didn't mean any harm by it, Mr. Miller. It's just that sometimes he's got... Well, now. Now, Marshal, let's keep our temper.
Shut up. King, how did you get out of jail?
When I've got anything to say to you, Dillon, I'll look you up.
Now, Marshal, it's all perfectly legal. Mayor came down to his office, he fixed bail, and he released Mr. Maller and his son.
They're both out, huh? Who went bail for this, Covey?
Now, it's all in the best interest of the town, Marshal. Just like I've been telling Mr. Maller here. It was just a misunderstanding, and all of us hope he won't hold it against us.
Kelvey, I ought to run you in for obstructing justice.
What's going on?
Somebody fired from the street, Mr. Dillon. I'll go out there.
What is it, Kitty?
Nora Beale got hit, Matt. She's hurt. Bad.
We will return for the second act of Gunsmoke in just a moment. But first, giving medical and welfare assistance to our armed forces and veterans, collecting much-needed blood, training our citizens for service in case of a national emergency, and always on the spot first with disaster relief, these are some of the many services of the American Red Cross. But this all costs money, $85 million this year. So please answer the call. Give generously to the Red Cross. Now for the second act of Gunsmoke.
Over here, Matt. They're over here on the poker table.
All right, Kitty.
Oh.
Easy now, Matt. It's all right.
Sorry, boys. Whoever has a high hand, don't look. There, Matt.
All right, Kitty.
Here, let me slip this coat under her head. There.
Did somebody send for Doc?
Yeah, and the dealers went after him. There now. Now look, Nora. Don't try to move now.
Looks like she was hit twice.
Matt, do you think that she have a chance at all?
I don't know, Kitty.
Poor kid.
Oh.
It's all right, honey. Doc will be here soon.
Why did they shoot me?
Well, I think they were trying to get me, Nora. Not you.
Why did they do it? Why? Oh,
Where's Doc? Why doesn't he get here?
Do you want me to go after Mr. Dillon?
please, I feel so...
No, Chester, there's no need for Doc to hurry now.
Matt, she was so...
Yeah. Well, Doc can take care of it when he gets here.
Looks like Billy Mallard really pulled something this time, Mr. Dillon.
No? How do you know it was Billy, Chester?
Well, sir, half a dozen people saw him fire through the window and then ride off down the street.
Yeah. I got a feeling those shots weren't wild. They were aimed. Only they were aimed at me.
You were just lucky, Mr. Dillon.
Where's Billy now, Chester?
I don't know, sir. I heard the Mallard bunch is getting ready to pull out. They're milling around the street out in front of their hotel. King Mallard and Tom Wayne are there.
Yeah. Well, they'll cover Billy, of course. It's going to be a lot tougher this time.
Yes, sir. A whole lot tougher, I reckon.
Kitty,
Yeah.
will you sort of take charge of things here until Doc shows up?
Oh, sure, Matt. You go on. Get your posse.
Posse?
You'll need one, Matt.
When you move in with a posse, you ask for a gunfight. Works on a man like an out-and-out challenge. I'm going to handle it alone.
But there must be 50 of them, Matt.
Only 3 that count. As long as we can control the Mallards and Tom Wayne, the others don't matter.
Marshal!
Huh? Oh, Kelvy. You got another suggestion for the best interests of the town?
Now listen here. You can't go up there, Marshal. That'll just lead to more killing. Won't do anybody any good. This wouldn't have happened, you know, if you'd taken my advice, not thrown that boy in jail.
And it wouldn't have happened if you'd have stayed out of it and left him in jail, Kelvy. Tomorrow morning, he'd have sobered up and cooled off.
Well, what's done's done. But they're getting ready to leave now. You can pass the word for King not to bring the boy along when he comes up next year and let it go at that. Don't make it any worse now, Marshal.
Yeah, let it go at that, huh? Don't antagonize him, huh? Look the other way. It's just Billy Mallard kicking up his heels, so let's stay real quiet. And maybe he won't commit another murder.
Murder? It wasn't murder, that was an accident.
It was murder. He meant to kill somebody, and he did. The only accident about it was the fact that he didn't kill me.
Well, it's just a common dance hall girl. Nobody's going to pay any mind.
I mind, Kelvy. And the law minds. And you stay out of this from now on. You understand me.
Well, now, Dillon, you're not talking to some saddle bum.
Yeah. Chester.
Yes, sir.
Matt,
Yeah, Kitty.
it's not going to help to go get yourself killed.
It seems to me I'm being sold awful short around here.
They outnumber you 20-1.
Kitty, if I let Mallard get away with this, I'd be through in Dodge City, and so would the law. It was hard work bringing the law in here. And it's been hard work keeping it here. And it'd be 10 times harder trying to bring it back if it ever got shoved out.
Yeah. All right, Matt. But do one thing, will you?
What?
Wait here. I'll be right back. Give me the shotgun, Red.
Right.
Here. Take this shotgun with you. Red keeps it back of the bar, but you take it, Matt. It'll help the odds a little, at least.
It's a good idea, Mr. Dillon. I'd sure feel a lot easier in my mind if you took it.
Well, all right. Thanks, Kitty. I'll see you.
She was a pretty little thing.
Yeah.
Seems a shame. There they are, Mr. Dillon. Out there in the street in front of the hotel.
Yeah, I see him.
Looks like the whole Mallard mob. This ain't going to be very easy.
King and Wayne are there, but I don't see Billy.
No, sir, I don't either.
Those two are the ones to watch, Chester. Don't let them start a play.
Yes, Mr. Dillon, I understand.
Here comes the marshal, Mr. Mallard.
King, I want that boy of yours.
What's he charged this time, Dillon?
Murder?
That girl died, man.
She died. Now, where's Billy?
Where'd you get the idea he had anything to do with it?
Half a dozen people saw him fire the shots from the street.
Well, I say he wasn't near that street.
Well, don't say it to me. Say it in court. Now, where is he, King?
Marshal, there's 40 of my riders standing here in the street. Every one of them packing a gun. I suppose you just turn around and start walking.
I said, where's Billy?
All I got to do is give the word, Dillon. These boys will drop you right in your tracks.
You're not giving anybody the word, King.
Huh?
Buckshot's got a pretty fair spread. Now, at the first sign of any move by this bunch, and I'll get you and Wayne with one blast. Now, you better warn him, King.
Dillon, you're barking up the wrong tree here. Billy rode out of town, headed south.
That's his horse tied there at the rail, isn't it? All right, where is he, King? Inside the hotel?
Now, look, Marshal, there's no call for all this. Maybe Billy did get a little bit out of line. He's always been a high-spirited young'un, but there's no reason for us to lose our heads. You know you got no case against him. Every one of my men here will swear he wasn't anywhere near that shoot.
They'll get their chance at the trial.
Well, now, that's just the trouble. We can't hang around here waiting for a trial. It's costing me money, but I'm willing to spend quite a bit, Marshal, to avoid the inconvenience.
Never mind, King.
Don't be a fool, Marshal.
Shut up. Wayne, move over a little closer to him here. All right, that's it right there. All right. The rest of you men fish your guns out and drop them on the ground. Now, slow and easy. No sudden moves. Watch him, Chester.
Yes, sir, I am.
All right. Back up now, out into the street, away from those guns. A whole bunch of you. Move! Here, Chester, take the shotgun. Keep him covered.
Yes, sir.
Hold it now. Just like you are. Nobody will get hurt.
Dillon, what you gonna do?
I'm going in the hotel and bring out that kid. Watch him, Chester.
Yes, sir, Mr. Dillon.
Marshal?
Yeah?
He's upstairs somewhere.
Alone?
Yes, sir. Everybody else cleared out.
Well, now's your time. Go ahead if you want. The Mallers won't bother you.
Thank you, Marshal. And the best of luck to you, sir.
Billy? Billy? You better give up. Billy, you haven't got a chance if you know what's going. Now hold it, Billy. Throw your gun out into the hall.
I'm gonna kill you, Dillon.
It's your last chance, Billy. Now come out into the hall and give yourself up.
I'll kill you, so help me.
Fool kid.
Dillon. Dillon, was that... Is he dead?
Yeah. I gave him 2 chances. He wouldn't take them.
Yeah. Headstrong. Always was. Guess maybe I didn't bring him up right.
It's too late to worry about that now. But I'm sorry, King. For Billy and for the girl both.
He had it coming. I know that, Marshal. I tried to stop it. Too late. The only way I knew. But you wouldn't bluff. Tom, go get him. We'll have to bury him in Kansas.
All right, King.
We'll be leaving Dodge right after.
Gunsmoke, under the direction of Norman Macdonald, stars William Conrad as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal. Tonight's story was specially written for Gunsmoke by Les Crutchfield, with music composed and conducted by Rex Corey. Featured in the cast were Sam Edwards, John Daner, Lawrence Dobkin, Harry Bartell, Charlotte Lawrence, and Barney Phillips. Parley Bear is Chester, and Georgia Ellis is Kitty. Gunsmoke is heard by our troops overseas through the facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Join us again next week as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal, fights to bring law and order out of the wild violence of the West in Gunsmoke. Every Sunday evening, CBS Radio presents My Little Margie, a hilarious comedy show starring Charles Farrell and Gail Storm. It's a worthy addition to the Sunday Fun Day lineup, a program that's packed with laughs from start to finish. Listen for My Little Margie on most of these same stations, tomorrow night presented by CBS Radio. This is the CBS Radio Network. around Dodge City and in the territory on West, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers, and that's with a U.S. Marshal and the smell of Gunsmoke. Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad. The story of the violence that moved west with young America. The story of a man who moved with it. Matt Dillon, United States Marshal. Ladies and gentlemen, later on tonight's program, you'll hear a special message from the Honorable Edward F. Arnn, Governor of the state of Kansas. But now we bring you the first act of Gunsmoke.
I'll swear it's going to be spring before we know it, Mr. Dillon.
This weather won't hold, Chester. We always got a rip snorter after a spell like this.
It sure don't look much like it today. I even heard a meadowlark this morning.
It's early for meadow larks, isn't it?
Yes, sir, that's what I'm telling you. Spring is downright staring us in the face. Well, the Texas Trail's kind of lively for this time of the afternoon.
That'll be livelier if you're right about spring and those trail herds start rolling in.
Well, look who's here. And in the daytime, too.
Well, howdy, Miss Kitty.
Miss Kitty.
Isn't it wonderful out? And guess what, Matt? I heard a meadowlark this morning.
You and Chester.
Huh?
I've been telling him, Miss Kitty, spring is just around the corner.
Kitty?
Yeah.
How come there's such a crowd in here?
Oh, you mean the boys at the bar?
Yeah.
Well, it's some of the riders from the Cyclone ranch. They're celebrating.
Well, it seems to me they were celebrating Saturday night. They're making kind of a long weekend out of it, aren't they?
Oh, Jim Polson said they all went back to the ranch Monday morning, but they got paid off.
What?
Yeah, the ranch was sold.
Sold? You mean old man Bartlett sold out? Well, I hadn't heard anything about it.
Well, that's what they said. The new owner had already taken over, some stranger. He's the one who paid him off. He brought his own riders with him.
Well, what's this stranger's name, Kitty?
Well, I don't know, Matt. Ed Revere over there was Bartlett's foreman. Ask him.
Yeah, I think I will. Excuse me.
I figured old man Bartlett would stay on.
Howdy, Marshal. Figure on throwing us in the hoosegow?
No, Ed, I wasn't planning on it. Do you happen to know where I can find old man Bartlett?
Well, afraid you're out of luck. Him and his wife's left the country. At least that's what the fellow that bought the ranch told us.
You mean he didn't even stay around to pay you off?
Nope. Made up his mind right sudden, I reckon. Guess this fellow Jed Wade made him a mighty good offer.
Jed Wade, huh?
Yeah. Texas man, more than likely. Ain't from around here, anyways. None of his cowboys, neither.
Then you haven't seen old man Bartlett since you left the ranch and came into town Saturday morning, huh?
Mary hiding her hair.
And he didn't say anything last week about planning to sell?
No, didn't. Sure can't figure old man Bartlett selling out. Said he put half his life into that place and planned on living out the rest of it right there.
Well, listen, Ed, let me ask you something.
Huh?
What do you figure about all this?
I don't know, Marshal. Except it ain't quite right somehow.
You don't think there's something crooked about it, do you?
Marshal, I don't know what to think. But it just ain't like Bartlett to run out this way. If there's anything I can do...
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Ed.
Marshal, I don't even have to look it up in the records. There's been no deed of sale on the Cyclone Ranch filed in this office. If there had, I'd know about it.
Yeah, well, all right, thanks. That's all I wanted to know.
Furthermore, there won't be one filed. Old man Bartlett will live out his life and die right there. You take it from me.
Yeah, well, that's what I figured.
Mr. Dillon?
Oh, come on in, Chester.
Sorry to interrupt, Mr. Mifflin.
Oh, quite all right, sir. I believe our business is completed.
Yeah. What'd you find out, Chester?
I checked the depot and the stage lines, Mr. Dillon, and nobody in town hasn't seen neither one of them since last week.
Mm-hmm. Well, all right, Chester. I guess we better ride out to the ranch.
Looks like that new outfit brought some of their own cattle up from Texas, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah. And they're wasting no time slapping a brand on them, either.
Want to take a look at them?
No. Let's ride on up to the house.
I sure can't figure it, Mr. Dillon, working night and day to build up a good feeder ranch like this and then up and selling out without even thinking it over.
Well, I can't figure it either, Chester. All right.
Oh. My golly, it sure is a fine ranch.
We ain't hiring anybody. Better mount up and ride.
Are you Jed Wade?
Name's Dallas. I'm the range boss.
Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal. Mr. Wade here?
He's out in the barn. What do you want to see him about?
Well, suppose I take that up with him, huh?
And suppose you turn around and hightail it out of here. Whenever Jed's got business with the law, he'll come to you.
Now, look, mister.
You hadn't ought to talk to visitors that way.
Jed don't want strangers hanging around, Miss Wade. And he don't want you talking to strangers either. You better go on back in the house.
I guess I know better than you what my own son wants. I'm the only one that understands him. You come right on inside, gentlemen. Mr. Dillon, did you say that was the name?
Yes, ma'am, that's right. This is my partner, Chester Proudfoot.
How do, ma'am?
How do?
You fellas wait right there. I'll go get Jed.
I think we'll accept the lady's invitation. After you, ma'am.
Why, thank you, Mr. Dillon. Surely does perk a body up to be having callers in her own house, especially when you live so long from hand to mouth.
I understand that you're new here, ma'am.
Oh, yes. Yes, we were camped for 3 weeks down along the river. Nary a caller, just living in a wagon. Oh, do be seated, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Ain't this a real pretty place now? Why, when Jed and Dallas rode back to camp Sunday morning and said they just bought a real bargain, I couldn't dream they meant something like this. A body just can't figure why the owners would ever want to sell it and leave. Would you gentlemen care for some cold buttermilk?
No, thank you, ma'am. You didn't meet the owners yourself then, huh?
No. They're already gone when I came over. Oh, you mustn't mind Dallas, Mr. Dillon. He's really a good boy at heart. Him and Jed just picked up a habit of talking mean like that sometimes, and seems like people just don't understand it. Mr. Dillon, Jed ain't got himself into some kind of trouble again, has he?
Again, Mrs. Wade?
Well, it's like I said. People just don't understand Jed lots of times. It ain't easy to bring up a boy alone, and a body don't always know what's the right way to do and what's not. But Jed's real good-hearted down underneath. Once you understand him like I do, why, the way he even talks to me sometimes would make you think that he was... Well, son,
What did I tell you about mouthing off to strangers?
But I was
Go on
only...
back, get in the kitchen.
Well, all right, son. You say so.
She's getting old, and it's been a hard trip up here. Dallas told me you was here, Marshal. What can I do for you? What do you want?
I'd like to see your bill of sale for this ranch, Mr. Wade.
What for?
Well, I'll tell you after I see it.
Are you trying to accuse me of something?
Not if you got a bill of sale signed by old man Bartlett. Well?
All right, Marshal. There you are.
Take a look. Uh-huh.
Satisfied now?
Where did the Bartletts go, Mr. Wade?
They said they was leaving the country, and that's all I know about it. Yeah, you want to give me back my bill of sale now?
Well, I'd like to take it into town and check the signature, if you don't mind.
Go ahead. It'll check.
And then you got nothing to worry about, have you?
Nary thing, Marshal. Now, I don't know what's on your mind, but you're barking up the wrong tree.
If you ask me, Mr. Dillon, I'd say that Wade and his partner are ornery enough for anything. Just plumb cussed, downright sneak-in mean.
Maybe so, Chester. But you can't jail a man for meanness, not as long as it only comes out in words.
I suppose. There ought to be a law of some kind. Now, take like the way he talks to his mama. I don't see how she can put up with it.
She's his mother, Chester.
Well, I know that, but there's no...
Matt.
Oh, hiya, Doc.
Just getting ready to close up the office. How about feeding with me?
Later, maybe, Doc. Say, Doc, you still got that bill of sale on that horse you bought last fall from old man Bartlett?
Oh, sure, I guess so, Matt. Why?
Well, I just want to check Bartlett's signature. That's
Why, what do you got there? I know his signature pretty well. Let me take a look at that now, man.
Oh, here. See what you think, huh?
Oh, yes. That's old man Bartlett's scrawl, all right. Of course it is.
Well, maybe I was wrong.
Yes, sir. It looks that way, Mr. Dillon.
But only about the bill of sale, Chester. We still don't know what happened to the Bartletts.
At this time, it is with great pride that Gunsmoke is able to bring you a specially recorded message by the Honorable Edward F. Arnn, Governor of the state of Kansas. Ladies and gentlemen, Governor Arnn.
It's a real pleasure for me, on behalf of Kansans everywhere, to congratulate the CBS Radio Network, the writers, producers, directors, actors, and technicians on the splendid job you are doing with Gunsmoke. Here is real adult Western drama, without the usual horse opera cliches portraying an era and community of Kansas that graphically marked the formative years of our great state. Let me point out, however, the Dodge City of today is a far cry from the Dodge City so vividly brought to life in Gunsmoke. From those early pioneer and frontier days, Dodge City has developed into one of the fine cities of our state, industrially, agriculturally, and historically. The folks of Dodge City, and indeed all the people of this great sunflower state, thank you for a good job well done.
Thank you, Governor Arnn. And now the second act of Gunsmoke.
Big crowd in town tonight, Mr. Dillon. In here, too. Must be the feel of spring in the air. You get the man on the prod, makes him feel good.
Not me, Chester.
Yes, sir, I've been noticing that. You haven't said 1 dozen words in the last hour. It don't do a man any good to stay down in the dumps that way.
Oh, drink your beer.
Well, now, we just made a mistake, that's all. Got the wind up over nothing.
Now we know it's old man Bartlett's signature, but I just can't help feeling that we haven't made a mistake.
Well, maybe you ought to make one, Matt.
Oh, hi, Kitty.
Everybody ought to make a mistake once in a while. Keeps them from getting old.
Or else helps them along.
What's your trouble, Matt?
Oh, feeling that somebody's guilty. not being able to prove it?
It's that Cyclone Ranch business, Miss Kitty.
Now, I know Bartlett didn't sell out.
His signature is on that bill of sale, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah, but a man can be made to sign something, Chester.
Well, why don't you find Mr. Bartlett and ask him?
Well, I'd settle for just finding him. I don't think I'd need to do any more asking.
Do you mean that the way it sounds, Matt?
Yeah. I know I'm jumping at conclusions, but the way things add up, it's the only answer that makes any sense.
Well, I hope you're wrong, Matt.
Well, so do I, but I don't think I am.
Anyway, there's not much you can do about it right now. Why don't you forget it for a while? How about a round of drinks, Matt, in honor of spring?
Spring, huh? You and Chester.
Well, it is, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah, even the coyotes feel it. Did you hear him just after dark tonight yapping down along the river bottom?
Yeah, I heard him. Kitty, would you mind if we had that drink later?
Well, all right. But where are you going?
Well, I just thought that Chester and I might take a little ride, that's all. Hold up a minute, Chester.
Yes. Be all right to roll a cigarette, Mr. Dillon?
No, you better not. We're too close to the Bartlett place.
Miss Kitty sure was right about those coyotes. Every one of them and his brothers out tonight, all yapping their fool heads off.
Yeah.
You suppose those coyotes really know it's spring coming, Mr. Dillon?
It could be.
They're sure scattered all over the countryside.
There seems to be more of them off there toward the river bottom, though.
Yes, sir. I believe you're right, Mr. Dillon. Wonder why.
I don't know. Might be worthwhile taking a look.
Yes, sir.
You know, it sounds to me like most of those coyotes are up around those river bluffs there by the bend.
Yes, Mr. Dillon, I believe it does just that.
Come on, Chester, let's ride over that way. They're on the other side of that willow thicket.
All right.
Now, let's cut through the thicket here.
Yeah. They must be awful interested in something, or they sure wouldn't let us get this close.
Well, I guess they heard you, Chester. I think most of them are over there at the foot of the bank. Let's take a look. Come on.
Chunk of the bank's caved off there, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah. Yeah, but the coyotes didn't do it. They've been trying to dig something up, not bury it. I wish there was more moonlight.
Yes, sir. Well, if you'd have told me what we were up to, I could have brought a lantern.
Well, I didn't know we were going to run into anything, Chester.
Yes, sir.
See if you can find a stick and let's scratch around in this loose dirt, huh?
All right, sir. Anybody tried to tell me this morning that I'd be out here in the middle of the night digging in that dirt like a groundhog, not even knowing what the Sam Hill I was...
What is it, Chester? Did you find something?
Yes, sir. I sure have.
Here, let me see.
Mighty lucky hunch you had, Mr. Dillon.
Well, now we know why nobody saw the Bartletts leave town.
They killed him. They killed both of them.
Yeah. After they made him sign that bill of sale. Hit the dirt, Chester. They came from the edge of the bank up there. Watch for the next flash. Is that you, Wade?
Just to the left of that sumac, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah, I saw it.
You're under arrest for murder, Wade. Now throw down that gun and come out of there with your hands up.
All right, Chester, let's open up on him. Careful, Chester. He may be faking it.
Yes, sir. Only one thing, Mr. Dillon. It's not Wade. It's Dallas.
Then let's go find Wade.
Ranch is dark. Looks like they're all in bed.
It may be easier that way.
Yes, sir.
I wish there was some way of keeping his mother out of it. I don't see how it can be.
Dallas? Is that you? Did you scare the coyotes away? I heard the shooting and
It's not Dallas, ma'am.
Why, it's the marshal and Mr. Proudfoot at this time of night. Well, this is quite a surprise.
Yes, ma'am, I reckon so. Is Jed here?
Well, I guess so. Maybe he's out in the barn or somewhere. What's wrong, Mr. Dillon? I sure do hope Jed ain't in some kind of trouble.
I just want to talk to him, Miss Wayne. Why don't you go on back in the house, huh? And we'll see if we can find him.
Well, all right, if you think best. You just go straight on back through the barn. I reckon you'll find him all right.
Thank you, ma'am.
It's not going to be easy.
Yeah, I know. Keep yourself covered.
I will. Sounds like he's working back there.
Yeah.
Bartlett put up enough prairie hay here to last for 3 years.
Right on back, Dallas. Just about got these here running irons finished.
Dallas won't be needing any running irons, Wade, or anything else. He's dead. We found where you buried the Bartletts.
That's where that shooting was. You and Dallas.
You're under arrest for murder, Wade. And if you make a move, you're going to end up the same way Dallas did.
How could I do anything, Marshal? I've got no gun.
I noticed it hanging on the wall there behind you. You leave it there.
Sure.
Now lay down that hammer and stick out your wrist.
Sure. Anything you say.
He smashed the lantern, Mr. Dillon.
Don't watch it, Chester. You'll have his gun now. Get back, Chester. Get back toward the door.
I can't see a thing in all this smoke.
Yeah, that haze is dry as powder. This burn's going to go up like a tinderbox. Wade, you haven't got a chance. Now come on out of there while you still can.
Why don't you come back here and get me?
You crazy fool.
Come on out now.
The heat's getting awful bad, Mr. Dillon.
Yeah, I know. Back toward the door, Chester. We're going to have to get out of here.
Let's go on. Cave it in.
Hold tight, Chester.
Even for a man like Wade, that's not a good way to die, Mr. Dillon.
Oh, no way is when you come right down to it, Chester.
Jed! My son Jed! He's in there already. He's there in all that fire.
I'm sorry, ma'am,
You
but...
got to do something. You got to go get him out of there.
No, I'm afraid there's no use,
I'll
ma'am.
go in there myself.
No, it's too late to help me.
always knowed it was going to end like this sometime. I always knowed it.
I'm sorry, Miss Wade.
Jed done something real bad, didn't he, Mr. Dillon? Him and Dallas. That's why you come back here.
Yes, ma'am, I'm afraid so. They killed the people who owned this ranch. They buried them down along the riverbank.
Those boys done a lot of bad things, Mr. Dillon. But I don't hold with killing.
I'm sorry it had to happen this way, ma'am.
Mr. Dillon, I'd like to ask a favor.
Oh, why, certainly, ma'am.
I come out here in a wagon. It's out back of the house. Now that it's getting light, if you'd hitch up my team to it, I'd like to go back to town with you.
Chester?
Yes, Mr. Dillon, I'll do it.
I'll just take what I brought, Mr. Dillon. Nothing else.
Well, just as you like, ma'am.
It's all in the trunk. Funny thing. I never did unpack it.
Gunsmoke, under the direction of Norman MacDonald, stars William Conrad as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal. Tonight's story was specially written for Gunsmoke by Les Crutchfield, with music composed and conducted by Rex Corey. Featured in the cast were Vivi Janis, Harry Bartell, Lawrence Dobkin, Joe Cranston, and Jerry Hausner. Parley Bear is Chester, Howard McNear is Doc, and Georgia Ellis is Kitty. Gunsmoke is heard by our troops overseas through the facilities of the Armed Forces Radio Service. Join us again next week as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal, fights to bring law and order out of the wild violence of the West in Gunsmoke. Tomorrow night, Theater of Stars brings you Dana Andrews as a New England fisherman of the old school in a colorful, exciting drama of the clipper ship days titled The Token. Hear what happens when a determined young lady steals her sister's betrothal token and then sets out to steal the stalwart young fisherman as well. It's on Theater of Stars tomorrow night on most of these same stations, a feature presentation of CBS Radio at the Stars address. And you've heard of people stopping the show. Well, there's a show on CBS Radio every Sunday evening that stops the people. It's the Jack Benny Show, of course. And when it comes on the air, practically everybody stops doing practically everything except laughing. So tomorrow night, just stop everything and listen to Jack Benny. He'll be on your favorite CBS radio station. George Walsh speaking. And remember, Eve Arden as our Miss Brooks also teaches you how to laugh Sundays on the CBS Radio Network.
Thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe.